Two women, born of the same two parents, but it feels like we have always been worlds apart. We're just different from one another. I mean, when we talk about our childhoods now, it is as though we were raised into completely separate households. I mean, her memories seem radically different from mine. Even though we grew up in the same house, on the same street, with the same mother. I mean, yes, she is 7 years older than I am, so that accounts for some of the difference, but she forgot we had a dog. How does a person forget something like that? I just don't get it. She claims to have like selective memory or something like that because Mom was so tough on us, so she blocked a lot of it out. I mean, yes, Mom could be tough on us sometimes, but she was a good mom. At least I thought she was. I mean, she took me to Paris for my 16th birthday. She never did anything like that with my sister. I mean, I never thought to ask why. It certainly never occurred to me that it's because I was the favorite. I mean, I don't think I was the favorite. My sister was, she was the interesting one, the one. She was rebellious. She used to dye her hair blonde and play Joni Mitchell and Indigo Girl songs on her guitar, even though Mom made her study classical. She used to walk around barefoot in ripped Levi's and peasant blouses, but she never looked disheveled. She always managed to look somehow glamorous. I was the practical one, the boring one, I guess. You know, I had my short, smart haircut. I tucked button-down shirts into my corduroys. And, you know, I kept busy with math homework and ballet classes. On the weekends, I might go to a museum with Mom. I know my sister never did anything like that. She spent her weekends getting high with her girlfriends or her boyfriends. I just never understood her. And yes, I will admit that I may have resented her sometimes. There's just so much history between us, but it's all like water under the bridge now, right? I mean, it's just childhood. Now we're adults. We have matured, we have moved on, we have separate adult lives, separate and apart from one another, you know? But she's still my sister. She was complaining about pain. Lots of pain right here. She was always so healthy. She never went to the doctor, so I took her to the doctor, who told us that it was stage 4 in her liver, and God knows where else. And the doctor didn't say God knows. The doctor just said, we don't know where else at this point. I met the doctor's gaze just once, just long enough to see this deep sadness in his eyes underneath, you know, his all business exterior. He didn't like giving news like this. Bad news. Terminal news. I mean, he didn't say as much, but he knew it, obviously, and I knew it. The only one that did not seem to quite get it was her. There would be no surgery. The surgery that she had been fearing so much was not even an option. But she seemed relieved. Phew, no surgery. And she seemed to be kind of like placidly smiling. Not smiling exactly, but I don't know what. She exhaled and she said, okie dokie. She stood up and then she said she really wanted something from the deli down the street. I pretty much lost my shit at that point. I had to turn and face the wall just to try to compose myself. And the doctor came up behind me. I think he was trying to make sure I was okay or something, but I just waved him off. The thing is, I had a million questions, you know, about treatment, about how much longer she had, and about what kind of symptoms we could expect moving forward. But it just didn't seem like the right time to ask them. And anyway, the doctor said that another doctor would be in touch about treatment moving forward, so I just quickly wiped my tears and I walked out with her. And on the way out, we asked the nurse for a prescription for more pain meds. And then she said, let's go shopping. I stood there like, shopping? Really? Like, what the fuck do you intend to buy right now? But, you know, off we went. I told her that I wanted her to move out of her little walk-up apartment because it was too small and there were too many stairs. I was hoping that she would come and stay with me, but she had said that there was this super luxe building in the area property that she wanted to check out, so that was our first stop. She asked the leasing agent, "Do you have any rooms with a nicer view?" I asked, "Where's the closest hospital?" She asked, "Will the front desk mail back my Amazon packages for me?" I asked, "Do you offer short-term leases?" She asked, "Do you plan on switching out those unattractive mats in the elevator, because it really is unacceptable for such a beautiful building?" I asked, "How do you get wheelchairs out of the building if the elevator stops working?" She looked at me a little funny on that last one. And then she said, "You need a pedicure." So, off we went. I went home that night, and I finally let myself crumble. The doctor gave her a terminal diagnosis, and she gave me a pedicure. Two women born of the same two parents. some new laughter, and I don't know what's coming next, and even less what's coming after. And though I've waited far too long, and I love you like I should have,
I'm a surgeon. I've made something of a name for myself performing complicated procedures on internal organs like the pancreas, the lungs, and the spleen, the liver. Surgeries that can last sometimes 12, 14 hours. I perform procedures on patients whose organs are failing but fixable. This woman's GP saw something on her scan that he didn't like, so he told her to come and make an appointment. These doctors, who are out of their depth and don't know what else to do, have their patients come and see me. But what they don't tell them is that I'm the best case scenario. I'm the one that you see if the disease hasn't progressed beyond the point of being cut away. And these types of diseases tend to consume organs like hungry predators until I can't do anything about it. And that's what happened with her. She came into my office, and I had seen her scans, and they didn't look good. Still, you can't be sure without a biopsy, so I fast-tracked her to get her one for the next day, which is a pretty big feat for my hospital. Lots of people are waiting on these endoscopic procedures. And anyway, I figured that in the meantime I should get to know her and talk. And we ended up talking for 20, 30 minutes, and turned out she had majored in French studies, not French language, French studies. She corrected me. I still don't really know the difference, but I should probably look that up later. Anyway, well, what struck me about her was she seemed to be fine with the whole thing. I know that sounds a little crazy, but she seemed to know that things would be okay, even though they weren't okay. I mean, most people who come in here, there's just so much fear, and that's very reasonable. This is a very fearsome diagnosis, and it got me thinking, had I been doing this all wrong? This time, I was out of my depth, I think. That night when I went home, I couldn't even bring myself to go on my evening jog. I felt too drained. I had bourbon instead. Her test results came back, and it was as I had suspected. She wasn't a candidate for surgery. As she was leaving my office, she said something about wanting some pea soup from the deli down the street, but her sister, who was with her, was kind of losing it and couldn't bring herself to think about the pea soup, and I thought, I should go get her that soup. It took me a second to remember that I can't go get this patient pea soup. I have other patients waiting, and I can't just start doing things for a patient that gets this kind of diagnosis. She sent me a glowing thank you note, for my time and my efforts. I've never received a thank you note for what I essentially consider to be a death sentence. In my line of work, I deal with life and death on almost a daily basis. I learned to cut away some of the disease a long time ago, but to cut away some of the fear, I still don't know. collapse before me. Path ahead feels like a maze. Through fearful eyes and compromise, all that's waiting for me. Patterns that consume my days. And still to my surprise, as the sun begins to rise, that hopeful voice returns, and yearns and fades. Mortality certainly seems the only given. Finality goes to your hand. No second chance, one backward glance, and you're torn to ribbons. So numb the pain and look ahead. Try not to drown in what they've said. And still to my surprise, as the sun begins to rise, that hopeful voice returns, and I face the day head on, not caring if I'm wrong. And it's sweet till it's gone. The answers slip through my
Tell you something. If there is anyone up there, he's an asshole. This is all so wrong. I mean, maybe this should have been me instead. You know, I mean, I'm a 50-year-old man in the prime of my life. She's younger than I am, and she's the one lying in a hospital cot in the middle of her bedroom. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad it's not me. I'm just being honest. I'm not ready to die. I feel like I've still got a lot left to live for. I've got a new wife, practically a new lease on life. I'm more productive at work than I've ever been. Ask me about dying, I can't even conceive it. I can't even picture it. I look in the mirror and my aging face is a shock to me. Don't get me wrong, it's not that bad. I know I still look good, but you know. All age, right? I still feel like a young man. I feel sharp, strong. But I digress. She's lying there, and it doesn't look like she's going to be getting up. It just seems so unfair. You know, she always was so young, so beautiful, right? I mean, that's what drew me to her at first, right? Her youthful beauty. And I don't think it's shallow of me to think that way either. I mean, you know, tale as old as time, right? Handsome, virile young man, drawn to beautiful, fair maiden, slender body, shining hair. She had the most beautiful smile. I come from a family of immigrants. We didn't know from orthodontics, but she had the most beautiful, radiant smile. White teeth, not a single one out of place. And she took great pains to take care of those teeth, you know? In-office whitenings, out-of-office bleaching trays, floss in the glove compartment, in every room, every drawer in the house. Coffee and tea were out because they stayed, right? But she did love steamed beets. Those stain teeth too, right? She was a woman full of contradictions. I think it was her obsession with oral hygiene that was just one of her many quirks, you know. And she had many. She had a big personality. She was fun. She was spontaneous. There was some shit that went with that too, you know. Some darkness, some complexity. She would always get really agitated, and I was never really understanding why. But maybe I put some undue pressure on her. I remember one time I joked after I bought her the Mercedes that I should probably get a blowjob at least once a month for this. Okay, half joke. Still, it wasn't a shining moment of chivalry on my part. I regret that. Jesus, there's a lot I regret. But I was a good husband, you know? I was a good provider. I took care of everything. I didn't complain even when I was working 14 hours a day, you know, to get my business off the ground. And I was a good father, too. I was there. I didn't take calls on the weekend. I didn't travel for work. I was present. There wasn't a bill I didn't pay or a day I didn't show up for her and our daughter. I was solid. The stupid thing is, she was always so healthy. She would eat every healthy thing. She took all these supplements. I mean, even after our divorce, she would still email me with the latest thing that she thought I should be taking. Resveratrol, CoQ10, fish oil, because omega-3s, right? She always wanted me to find this more natural path to wellness, whatever that means. She wanted to help everybody. But there was a dark side. She was stubborn. She spent way too much. She used to drive me crazy when we were married. But I loved her. I know that's easy to say right now. She's lying there. She's not going to get up. But I still love her. I have no disrespect to my new wife either. I mean, it's not like that. I love her. Once upon a time, she left me. And I'm not being arrogant when I say that I think it was a mistake. I mean, she was just looking for something that she was never going to find. But I moved on. I have a new life, a great new career. Jesus, I don't know why I'm getting so bent out of shape about this. She's my ex-wife, for God's sakes, and she left me. And I moved on. So why does it feel like she's just leaving me all over again? Promises are a joke from the moment that you make them. You give your heart, take a vow, and then time decides to break them. Maybe she didn't know she didn't have to face this much alone. Promises sounded good, quite the noble undertaking. But don't you dare second guess, or the foundation starts quaking. Maybe I didn't know she wouldn't stay to share the seeds we'd sown. And what kills me isn't judgment in their eyes, but the memories that now feel more like lies. They don't know. I was strong. I held on. She let go. around. No matter where you sweep them, you're damned if you say the words. You're damned if you don't keep them. Maybe I should have known the minute that she made the choice her own. Her own. I'm not saying I'm the victim. Don't take my words and twist them. I just could have been more than a footnote divorce. Look down on when she knows that I made the choice. And what kills me isn't how a lifetime flies, but how you give and how they criticize. When every choice you made are times you bleed, so easily forgotten when it suits their needs. And I can see her how she was, and even how she could be the phantom life, the possibility. And I won't hide the pain, I won't ask her for pity, but does she know? Does she know when she's gone? I held on. I can't let it go.
My mother always loved flowers, roses especially, but all kinds of flowers. So one day when my aunt was getting everything ready for the ambulance to take Mom home from the hospital because she couldn't walk, she actually couldn't even sit in a wheelchair, I took my husband with me and we went to Trader Joe's and I bought out the entire floral department. I got red roses and yellow roses and these little potted bushes of roses and hydrangeas, these tall white Casablanca lilies that Mom always loved because she thought they were so elegant and she loved their fragrance. I filled the entire truck of my SUV with these flowers, and it was a lovely day, so I opened up the sunroof and I felt the sunshine on my face and I felt joyful. And then I remembered that Mom was coming home and she was probably never going to leave home ever again. So we rushed to Mom's place. It was a race against the clock. She hadn't been discharged yet, but when she got home, I wanted all these flowers filling her apartment and these vases she had. My mom loved antique vases. I don't know, she would collect them and she would come home with a new one and my dad would always say, "What do you need another vase for? It's just fodder for the next earthquake." But did that stop her? No. She was a relentless collector and she loved them, so we had dozens. When Mom got home, she was really out of it. She admired the flowers as much as she could anyway. And then she was making these like semi-lucid comments that pretty much stopped after the third day. And since then, she's been like sleeping full time. And the only sounds coming from her room are the sounds of her labored breathing and the whir of her oxygen machine. I know that she's not listening, but I don't know, I feel like she can still hear me. I don't really know how to explain it, but for example, my dad recently said that he thought that maybe he'd start bringing his new wife around. And I told Mom one day, and I swear I saw her grimace, and I told him that probably was not the best idea. So on the first night home, the hospice nurse said that this could either be 6 weeks or 6 months. Nobody can know God's plan. And I thought, 6 months? So obviously I've been dreading this moment, but I've also kind of been hoping that it would come sooner rather than later, because I don't think I can do this for 6 months. I mean, I've been here all day, every day. I've held Mom's hands as I've cried, and I've read her things that I've written, and I've watched my tears stain this crisp white sheet that's hanging over her, and I've been really scared to go home to my house every night, but the hospice nurse said that I should just go, that Mom would want me to be with my husband and to take care of myself, and that when she chooses to go, it's a conscious decision, and if she chooses to go when I'm not there, that I shouldn't have any negative feelings about it. No negative feelings. I have had quite a few of those in my life where my mom is concerned. Like when I was 10 years old, my mom took me to this fancy designer children's boutique. She took me there because she wanted me to see that those beautiful clothes were not going to fit my chubby frame. That the pants with the cute little satin patches on the front were not going to zip up past my soft belly. I guess she thought this would be motivating to me at 10 years old. And when I was 16, I confessed to my mom that I didn't think I would ever have a boyfriend. And she told me not to worry because I had a beautiful face and a lovely rear end. And then I was graduating college, and I met this man, and his arms were so warm, and he smelled so good, and he could pick me up off of the ground, and to my surprise, he didn't really want those skinny girls and designer fashions. He wanted me. So I went wedding dress shopping with Mom, of course, and she picked out this ruffly number that was kind of like Little Bo Peep, but like Little Ho Peep. Like it was really skanky, and she told me that it was demure and flattering for someone of my build. Sexy and dramatic? No, that's for somebody else with a different kind of build, of course. And at my wedding, I beamed. And my mother glowed. And that's just it. My mother always glowed. These past few weeks have been hell. But these past few weeks have also been amazing. We've radiated love back and forth, and I've read her things that I've written, and she loves them. I mean, she savors my words. Beautiful, she says. And when she says it, it's filled with a kind of love and pride that I don't think I could feel from anybody else, ever. How am I supposed to do this without her? It's taken me this long to realize it, but she's been seeing me glow the whole time. I feel like I would do just about anything to keep being seen like that for just a little while longer. From the hospital visits at 2 a.m. to the tears that come, whether or not you want them, all the well-meaning whispers have made it clear you've asked all the wrong questions and the end is near. But even now I find myself reaching out for something I can't name, a sign, a light, a thing to blame. Even now I wonder how the child inside can find through it all. But if I gave a little more, if I braved a little more, if I stayed a little longer, prayed a little harder, could I live with everything I've done? If I'd known how soon it'd be, would I do it at all differently? Because no second chance awaits me, the lesson still escapes me, and I fear now the night has just begun. From the thought of a future without your guide, though you know she's flawed, burst free, justifying inside the fear that you hide, saying it's less for her than for me. But even now, I find myself making promises that feel so cheap. She'll never know, I'll never keep. And even now, I wonder how the child inside has come this far at all. But if I begged a little more, if I said what I could not before, if I stood a little stronger, planned a little better, could I live with everything I've done? If I'd known how soon it'd be, would the hours have flown so easily? Because no words of wise awaits me, the reason still escapes me, and I fear now the hurt has just begun. When I see her in the mirror, so much clearer every day. It's so cruel to feel her nearer as she slowly slips away. But if I gave a little more, if I said what I could not before, if I stayed a little longer, prayed a little harder, would she wait to see who I've become? If she knows who I can be, would she stay and fight some more to see? Because I don't know what awaits me, the reason still escapes me, and there's no turning back from where we've come. I'm anything but numb. If I stayed a little longer, prayed a little harder, would she see the woman I've become?
My sister is taking me to the doctor tomorrow because I've been having this pain. It's really awful pain right up in here. You know, I usually have a very high pain tolerance. I mean, childbirth, as I remember it, it was no big deal for me. But, well, this pain, it's pretty intense. I'm trying not to have anxiety about it. You know, it will be what it will be. I certainly don't want this doctor to think I'm some sort of hypochondriac. Although I guess what the doctor thinks of me should probably be the least of my concerns. I used to care so much about what people thought of me. Whether they found me nice enough or smart enough, pretty enough. Which is funny looking back because I've come to realize that most people, well, they're just not paying such close attention, you know? Most people don't notice and don't care if you have a pimple or a bad hair day or an inarticulate moment. You know, most of us, for better or worse, we go through this life mostly preoccupied with ourselves. I had this friend who used to work for this guru, like a 1-800-change-your-life kind of a situation. You know, one of those calm-voiced people you might see on a late-night infomercial who talk about turning around the chaos in your life and finding peace and serenity, blah, blah, blah. Secretly, I turned my nose up at my friend's line of work. My sister, of all people, she disagreed with me. It's funny, people think of her as the tight-assed one, but really she's the one who's, I think, always been searching for something deeper and more spiritual. Not me. I mean, yes, I could rock boho chic as well as the next chick, but I never bought into any of that. We're all part of the universal life force stuff. Until recently. You know, nowadays my outlook has really shifted. Could be aging, but it's felt like something else. Like some sort of premonition. Like the universe was telling me to just slow down and relax and just appreciate this beautiful life that we've been given. Anyway, my friend said that her guru boss had reached enlightenment, which she described as the growth of the human into the divine, resulting in the deification of the human person. And I thought, what the fuck does that mean? Deification. It sounded vaguely blasphemous to me, and I'm not even religious. But I guess I've been thinking about it without even realizing I was thinking about it, you know? What does it mean to be divine? And then I thought about my daughter and how my ex and I, we made that person and we raised her and she's incredible to me, and I thought, I've been thinking a lot about my life, about the things I've done. You know, I danced in the streets at Carnival in Rio, and I toured Coco Chanel's private apartments in Paris. And I have felt soft white sand under my feet on so many different beaches. I can't even remember where they all were. I've been married and divorced. And I think I know myself better now than I ever did before. I held my own new baby in my arms, and I've watched her grow into this amazing person. And even though I'm well aware that the world doesn't belong to only me, in these joyful moments I've felt like the world was all mine, if that makes sense. And I can't help it, I just feel all this gratitude. But then there's this pain. The other day I was in so much pain, and I went in to Rite Aid, and the clerk told me that they were out of stock on my pain medication, and I said, you know, that's fine, I'll just fucking die right here on the pharmacy floor. I actually said that to the poor girl behind the counter. I think she almost had a heart attack. So no, I have not reached enlightenment. And I don't expect that I ever will, or even need to. I don't know what's gonna happen at the doctor's office tomorrow, or any day after that. But I look at the life that I've lived, what I've been fortunate enough to do. I have loved deeply, and I have been loved. If I get bad news at the doctor's tomorrow, I know some people might say, why me? The more I think about it, I guess I might say, why not me?
Was a wife.
She was a mother, mostly sincere.
celebrations, years and expectations.
Hope or despair, I feel her there.
And she